Welcome to the Moon Magic Tarot channel. Super Souls, we are drawing 3 cards to guide you into these SAMHAIN readings. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I've come across lots of different pronunciations, but you know, this is a day that is traditionally actually the beginning of a new year. It was considered in pagan traditions to be the beginning of a new year. So we are asking today, what blessings are being initiated for you at this point of SAMHAIN? So I am seeing 3 cards, and no, it's this one. Okay, and we have some beautiful little Halloween kind of charms as well. Well, they're not exactly charms, but you'll see. Okay, so reading number 1, we have Spirit Bear of 396 Hertz, and this is card 15. I know many of you are really tuning into numbers at the moment, really picking up on this in your comments. 15, Spirit Bear of 396 Hertz. We have, for reading number 2, we have Ishtar Lion's Gate 888, and it's the card 44. We also have the card 29, Beatitude of Sacred Rapture. This is reading number 3. I'm going to draw a rune for each of these as well, and then we'll bring in the little Halloween charms. I'm hearing 2 for this. Do you know what? I'm going with this. This is what's coming through really clearly. 4 for each. I know this is almost like starting the reading ahead of time, but this is what's coming through, and we have 5 on this one. I'm just going to do this because I think sometimes we've got to go with the spontaneity, and we have to be in the moment and respond to everything that's coming. Reading 1, you have the rune of initiation, you have the rune of gateway, you have the rune of protection, and you have the rune of constraint. Okay, and I'm going to bring in these little Halloween charms. You have pumpkins coming in here. Okay, right, reading number 2, you have the rune of journey, you have the rune of Hagelas, this is disruption, you have the rune of the self, and you have the rune of joy, Ishtar Lion's Gate 44888, and you have the charms of these lovely little ghosts. Okay, let's put them there. And reading number 3, you have the rune of harvest, you have the rune of growth, you have the rune of fertility, you have the rune, you have the blank rune, and you have the rune of breakthrough. So let's move these up a little bit so we can get them all together for you to just tune in. And you actually have these beautiful little charms, these witches. Lots of little magical witches on broomsticks here. Okay, so Super Souls, sit with these cards and runes as long as you need to. Press the pause button if you need to as well, and I'll put all the timestamps in the information box below and the comments for phone users. I'll leave the video running for a few moments, but press the pause button if you need longer. Tons of love, and see you in just a moment in the readings. So beautiful. Reading number 1, you've been guided in to this reading by Spirit Bear of 396 Hertz, the number 15. And these amazing runes, the way the runes came out, I mean, I'm just tingling doing these readings. This is very, very interesting because we are asking, you know, what blessings are being initiated for you in this turning point of SAMHAIN. And this card actually represents a turning point where you are released from some aspect of fear or guilt that has previously held you back, something that has previously stopped you from fulfilling your greatest potential. So there's just the most incredible energy here. The rune of initiation is a rite of passage. The rune of gateway is, again, it's a turning point. It's not really a turning point as such. It's an opening. It's more than just a turning point. It's literally an opening, a new gateway, a new point of emergence. The rune of protection. This is telling me that this turning point, this opening, I need to stop saying turning point because it feels much more like an opening. This is the blessing that's coming to you, and we haven't even drawn other cards yet. You're protected, you're guided, the timing is right. Even if you feel like you're still kind of drowning in something, or you're still feeling as if there's stuff lingering that's or still constraining you in some way, this is changing. This is the blessing. It's going to be changing. The timing is perfect. I'm going to move these just up here so that we can, this also tells me that it's this is emotional, but then again, you know, of course, things like fear and guilt are emotions. You know, they're difficult emotions, and they do and can hold us back. Now we're going to draw a variety of cards. So first of all, I'd just like to see what spirit animal is around you at the moment, particularly at this point of Samhain. You've got 2 cards coming through for you. Let's have a look at these. You have horse and you have beaver. Okay, this is great. This is really, really great. Let's pop them down here, because beavers are very constructive, okay? And horses represent power. You know, if you think about it, we talk about engines in horsepower. We still measure engines, the power of an engine, in horsepower. So I'm seeing activity taking place around you. My goodness me, the energy is with you for something to completely shift here. There will be a really big blessing. This is being shown to us already in your reading. Let's draw other cards. I want to see more before we really dive into the interpretations and listen to what is being shown for you. I'll draw from a couple of oracle card packs, and there is your card. And I'm going to draw from 2 different tarot packs initially. We're going to use your cards are just flying out. We're going to use, this is the Crow Tarot. We're going to use this Crow Tarot pack, and also the Wildwood Tarot, which I feel is very tuned in with this Halloween, Samhain energy, actually. And I am seeing this one in here. Okay, let's have a look at your cards. Reading number 1. Woo! Gosh, hold on to me. This actually is going to happen quite quickly. We're being given an indication of time here. You may be feeling like the energy of constraint is around you. You may be feeling like stuff is just, I won't say not happening as such, but you may be really feeling like, is this ever going to end? Will I ever not be tormented by fear, guilt? There's something that's lingered, but it's leaving. Look at this, coming apart. Hold on, and it's going to happen quickly. I will just place these up here. Let's see what else we have. Wow, we have the card of Justice. We have the card of the Hanged Man. We have the 5 of Swords. This is super nice. How are we going to place our cards here? I think I'm going to place these up here. And we have the Knight of Swords. Okay. This is absolutely amazing. Reading number 1. This shift is coming. There's something that has really, I mean, it could have been clinging to you for a long time. It is connected to fear, to guilt. You know how those emotions can literally, if emotions are, if you think of emotions as energy in motion. So when you feel something, it's actually really important. Emotions are a part of our navigational system. So if you step out into the street and a car suddenly comes careering off the road, you get out of the way. You're loaded with adrenaline, which is generated by fear. It's a healthy aspect of fear. If you had no fear, you would just walk into really silly situations all the time. But of course, the problem with things like fear is that often the residue remains with us if we have a traumatic or a difficult experience. And because that emotion hasn't been released, it becomes like an energetic roadblock within you, and it gets tapped into and it rocks up inappropriately. You can be living, if you've had a traumatic experience, you can be living on high alert all the time, always looking and almost anticipating the next crisis. I mean, there's a ton of stuff. I'm not going to talk too much. I will say that I wrote a book. I was a therapist, a counsellor for over 28 years, an accredited psychotherapist. So do check out, I'll put the links in the information box. I do have a free online library where there's loads of stuff to do with emotions on there. And also I do have a book called Mindfulness Meets Emotional Awareness. It will teach you how to understand your emotions as a source of empowerment. But it's not what we're doing this reading for, but truly it really will help you if you still have residue. What your SAMHAIN reading is saying to us, and I am so thrilled for you because it's leaving some kind of an emotional roadblock that is inside of you that has stopped you from being able to literally fulfill your highest potential. It's stopped you from being you. Now, you may have been able to be you in some areas of your life, but there are other areas where I don't think you have. And for some, it's been really debilitating. And I really, really see that. And I really, really am saddened that you have been through experiences that have left you feeling that fear, that guilt, those difficult emotions, but they're leaving. Things are transpiring, things are coming to a point where you are going to step through that gateway. You'll gain something here. Beavers are hard workers as well, so I want to say also really honour you and the work. It's like that soul level work, because with the Rune of Gateway, it's like if you imagine climbing to the top of a mountain, you sit down and you cast your mind back over the entire, all of your life experiences. And all of those experiences lead you to this point where you know that you are the person that you are because of those experiences. You are the amazing you that you are because of those experiences, which means you can sort of almost give thanks and gratitude for who you have become. Honor yourself, okay? Honor who you are. And from that point of honoring you being the amazing you that you are, you then step through the gateway in this sort of, there's something very liberating in this reading. Let's just have a quick look at our other cards here. So we have the Ace of Vessels. Look at this, we have an ace and a 10. The Ace of Vessels, the waters of life, and the 10 of Vessels, happiness. This is beautiful. Now I'm going to have to move our little our little spider here and some of our Halloween confetti, really, and move this along so that we've got room for all our cards. Let me shift them up. Okay, that's going to work. Great stuff. Okay, we have Ace of Vessels. I mean, this is just wonderful. 10 of Vessels, happiness, and look at this, King of Bows, adder, and Knight of Bows, fox. Okay, I think we can get these. Yeah, I think we can push things along a little bit here so that we have everything in view for you. In fact, let me just, so you're not watching this, I'll press the pause. There, Super Souls, you should now be able to see everything. It just seemed daft for me to be rearranging them with you waiting. Now, everything in your reading number 1 is telling us that something that has been emotionally charged is coming to an end. You have felt restricted by it, you have struggled by it, it's held you back, it's basically limited you in some way, shape or form from moving forwards, from fulfilling your highest potential, the even more amazing version of you that you already are. And what we see is serious opportunity. The blessing is the release of something within emotional charge that's held you back. And my goodness me, it's going to happen quickly. Now we've got just the most incredible cards reinforcing this message. We have Justice and the Hanged Man. Justice bringing things into balance, you know, the crowning of something. The Hanged Man is a card. I love the poppies here. It's like, again, for me, this is a letting go and a releasing of something, a leaving something behind that used to limit you. You're being brought back into balance. Just, I almost want to say, actually, justice will be served. I think for some of you, there is actually a reality to that statement. Justice will be served. You know, something that has previously restricted you, I suspect it's still restricting you. There's something of that lingering, but it's going to happen fast. We have the Ace of Vessels, that energy of the Ace, with the Swan here as well. And I mean, look at these two cards. It's amazing. We've got this incredible waterfall in both. You know, absolutely incredible. This is going to flow. This situation is going to flow into that space of opening. Okay, Ten of Vessels, happiness, it's completion, it's contentment, it's happiness, it's love, it's wonderful. Ace of Vessels, the energy there to make it happen. Okay, this is absolutely, this is such a beautiful reading. I am just feeling incredibly excited for you. We have the Knight of Bows. This is the equivalent of, the Ten of Vessels is the cups in a more traditional pack. Knight of Bows, Fox, and King of Bows. So we have a Knight and a King. So we're seeing, you know, stuff again move forwards. The Knights, particularly the Knight of Swords and the Knight of the Bows, is the equivalent of Wands. So this is like the Knight of Wands, the King of Wands. So we're seeing empowerment, horsepower again. We're seeing your work, your hard work come to fruition. We're seeing it happen. Hold on to me. It's going to happen fast through the coming apart of something, the letting go of something that has, gosh, it's restricted you. It's not been okay. Five of Swords. Again, it's a point of movement. It's a point of recognizing. It often speaks of limitations. It speaks of something that's held you back, been limiting your horizons. And yet suddenly the Knight is here. You know, the Knight of Swords is dynamic. It's an energy of moving forwards, and it's happening. And what do we have here with our beautiful crows? We have a horse. Horse power again. You are coming into your own power in a really good way, whatever that will mean for you. For some of you, it could even be something where you're really seen in some way. But for whatever it is, whether it's in connection to relationship, family, whatever it is, reading number one, you are coming into your own power. There is something that is being let go of that has previously held you back. And that is the blessing that we are being shown for you at this turning point of Samhain. Now, I am actually going to draw just a few more cards for you. I'm actually going to draw them. I was going to use the Akashic Tarot actually, but I'm actually not actually feeling it right now, Super Souls. I'm not feeling it. Doesn't feel right for your reading, so I'm just going to see what we're shown. We'll use some astrology cards here. Okay, and I think we'll take these and all six. Let's have a look and see. I mean, your reading is clear as anything. I mean, these pairings of cards, it's really interesting. The pairings, you know, Ace of Cups, Ten of Cups, Knight of Bows, King of Bows. You know, Five of Swords, Knight of Swords. Just the pairing is extraordinary in terms of seeing the shift. But it is something that has felt very restrictive. Interesting, we have third house communication. We have first house arrival. Oh. We have Taurus, cultivate. We have Virgo, digest. We have, seem to spend a lot of time reorganizing your cards, reading number one, but it's just how it is. Let's go with that. I want you to be able to see them. Okay, this is a very interesting, this is an interesting layer of communication we're being given here. 11th house community. Strength, dignified. And ascendant entrance. Wow. Okay. Right. So the reading is very, very clear already. Reading number one, absolutely clear as the day. Something's coming to you. It will come through a form of communication. Either it may even be somebody apologizes, or a communication takes place that brings something to light, or yeah, whatever it is, something happens that creates this opening for you. And there will be opportunity to consider it as well, and consider your position in this. First house arrival. Yes, something arrives. There will be a communication of some sort. It could be a letter. I know I said to you, for some of you, it feels like justice will be served. If it's a letter, or, you know, it could come through. If it's literally, there could be something around that for some of you. There's definitely, whatever arrives, whatever communication comes to you, digest it and contemplate it. That's the rune here. So the initiation, the rune of initiation, is this arrival of something. A communication arrives. Take your time to think about it, review, reflect. The rune of gateway, cultivate, digest, whatever comes to you, whatever is bringing you that opening. Okay, because this is fabulous energy here. We've got the Ace of Vessels and the Ten of Vessels, so we're seeing fabulous outcomes, something arriving that allows you to see something differently, or it literally opens a doorway. Take your time, look at it, review it. Interesting, we have 11th house community. For some of you, there may well be some aspect of your standing. I did say for some of you, you might be publicly sort of seen. I was feeling that. You know, maybe previously somebody had, or even talked behind your back or something, and it left you feeling really awful. Something suddenly happens, justice will be served, and things are put right. You know, there's something that has held you back. Community. So it may be for some of you that you are seen, or that you're offered a position within your community where you can rise up and you can take it, and someone, you for the first time feel you can really do this. Dignified, strength. Lovely. It's like you're embracing this opening with grace, with strength, with grace. There is an opening. It's all I can say here with these extra cards, reading number one. It will arrive. It will literally come. The opportunity, the opening, the initiating of this, as it arrives, will actually come through some form of communication. It's very, very clear. It will arrive. Cultivate it, digest it. It carries emotional weight for you. That this situation really does. Interestingly enough, these two runes, protection does speak of emotions and being very thoughtful, to be mindful, clear. Knight of Swords energy. The rune of constraint also sometimes says cross the T's and dot the I's. You know, again, digest, cultivate. Cross the T's, dot the I's. If somebody makes you an offer of something and you think, wow, you know, and you're so like, oh, I can't believe I got the offer of this, somebody's headhunted me, or somebody's made me an offer, this is what I've been waiting for, this is the opening I've been longing for, I just never believed it would be possible, I've been so tangled in emotions and feeling like it couldn't happen, and now it is, and all of that kind of flavour. Cross the T's, dot the I's, read the small print. Okay, It will be, it's a genuinely good offer. Digest it. It's an opening. It's an entrance. If it's something that comes to light that has been previously challenging or awful or difficult for you, then something when it comes to light, again, review, reflect. There's an essence of, when, I don't know, if someone's been really not very nice and something comes, we can sort of, I don't know about you, you can always get a bit sort of, not sort of told you so-ish, but you know what I mean? And it's not a nice energy, really. It's better to just rise with dignity and strength, be seen for who you are, and not kind of get drawn into, because it's quite a negative energy, actually, if we get into that sort of sense of, do you know what, told you so, or, vindication. Because I think if there's been something that's not been okay, this primary card of guilt and fear, you don't need the vindication part. You're going to be validated. It's if that's what this reading is speaking to you personally about, you're going to get the validation. Assume your position with strength and grace, because it almost consolidates and reinforces. Again, it's you're rising, you're being given an opening. That means that you can move ahead. Something is released. It creates an incredible sense of strength and new beginning here. Opportunity to build, really build stuff that you've wanted to, that previously things were in the way, energy was in the way. I don't think we can say any more, really. Knight of Bows, King of Bows, King of Wands energy here. I mean, well, reading number one, I just am tingling with excitement for you. This feels like an incredibly magical blessing coming through for you. And I sort of want to say, and about time too. It's got that flavour. It's like about time too. You've been waiting for this. I'm seeing it happen quickly. It will come through some aspect of communication. Whatever this means for you, I am honestly thrilled. In the comments, for this and for future readings, do kind of let us know, what the outcome is for you guys as and when it happens, because I don't have a clear indication of exact timings, and as a general reading that is always difficult because we're all having our own unique worlds. But I am seeing that when this happens, your feet aren't going to touch the ground. This is just going to sort itself out. And it's great. It's going to happen. The opening is coming. So whatever that is for you, it removes those stuck emotions that have held you back. And I'm just seeing you being able to rise and soar in whatever way is right for you. Super souls, I'm sending you the biggest hug and tons of love at this wonderful, wonderful festival of Samhain. If you're in the southern hemisphere, you will be celebrating a different it will be Beltane for you, but for us in the northern hemisphere, the Samhain energy is here. And it doesn't matter where you are. If you have been tuned in to this reading and your intuition has guided you into this reading, this is the energy and the blessing that is coming to you at this turning point, wherever you are on our beautiful planet. Super souls, tons of love. Don't forget to subscribe, press the little bell icon. If you're interested in energy and manifesting with the moon, do check out my diary and my journal and for next year, and also the big webinar. I talked about the science and all the stuff, that why the energy of the moon can really help us to manifest and be a really conscious participant in our own lives. So do check those out. Super souls, I'll put all the relevant links to anything and everything in the information box below, including my free library and the other book I spoke about. So just scroll down and I'll put them in the comments for you as well. Super souls, this is magical. It's something you've waited for, longed for, wanted, needed. Actually, yeah, that's the right word. It's something you've needed. Super souls, tons and tons of love. Beautiful reading number 2, people. Thank you for joining me. You've been guided into this card. Very interesting numbers here. 44, Ishtar's Lion Gate, 888. You have the rune of journey, the rune of disruption, Hagalas, the rune of the self, and the rune of joy. Can you see, super souls, how the rune of the self is like the rune of, it's like the rune of joy split down the middle and opened. Really interesting, something coming into you. Ishtar Lion's Gate is a card that literally says, it literally does say a blessing is coming to you. Something that was negative will become positive. Something that, yeah, something is changing, shifting. And of course, the subject of our readings, what we're asking today is, you know, what blessing is this turning point, this festival of Samhain bringing for you? What's it initiating for you? What is this energy initiating for you? Let's draw more cards. I want to have a look and see what spirit animal guide is around you. Okay, so we have just the one. It's interesting. Reading number 2 rocked up 2 cards for us. Okay, wow, you have Cheetah. Gosh, this feels like something is happening fast. Okay. I almost, with the rune of disruption, you know, the rune of disruption is like Uranus, the great awakener. It's like something just comes in and rocks your world. It's like, and I feel like these little ghosts are going, yay! It's almost, it looks like they're kind of shouting, celebrating. I don't know if I can be able to pick them up easily with my little Samhain nails. Here we go. But can you see? It's like they're not spooky ghosts. They're like really cheerful, like really having fun, dancing, having fun, just, you know, yeah, I feel like something's rocking up quite quickly for you. It may be very disruptive, but it feels good. Let's draw a ton more cards and see what we are shown. Reading number 2. So we are asking for reading number 2. What blessing is this Samhain festival initiating, this timing, this incredible timing initiating for reading number 2? There is your card. And we will draw from, I'm going to draw from the Crow Tarot, I think. We'll draw from the Crow Tarot and the Wildwood Tarot as well. Let's have a look at your cards, reading number 2. Okay. Wow, look at this. Her joy renders the impossible task possible. This is such an interesting card. She rides, oh, I love these cards. She rides with wild spirit unbroken. What a pair of cards to have drawn. Reading number 2. I just said, didn't I? I feel like this is something's going to move forward fast. It's going to happen quickly for you. Now, how are we going to place these? I think we'll just put these up here for the moment. I'll come to them back in a minute. Yes, we have the card of Compass. Very, very interesting. Okay, I think actually, no, we'll leave that there. I was thinking of moving some things around, but I'm just going to leave everything as it is now. Let's look at your tarot cards. So we have Page of Cups. We have King, I was about to say King. We have Queen of Pentacles. We have the card of the Hermit. And then we have the 7 of Cups. We have the Hooded Man here. The Hermit again. Right, I'm just going to place these actually to one side. We'll look at these in a minute. Let's look and see what we have here first. Gosh, something is, I think, really potentially, let me see if I can I get those in like this to see? Yeah, if I move these along a little bit, we'll be able to get everything in on the top row here. So we have a little bit more space for more cards. Okay, right. I want to say here, reading number 2, The rune of joy is just so positive. I mean, it's like it's a new dawn. It's like carried across the gap by the wings of heaven. And look at the imagery here of both these cards of you just flying. Literally, her joy renders the impossible task possible. I do feel something is coming in to your world that will create some disruption. Okay, I'm not saying it's a bad disruption, but nevertheless, it will be disruptive. It's almost like the arrival of a baby. You know, when a baby arrives, you know, the whole world is turned upside down. Literally, everything changes. But it's such a blessing. I mean, you couldn't possibly imagine anything more joyous. But it's this, something is landing here for you guys that is, it feels like it's on track, it's guided, it's divine timing, it feels very, I want to say perfect, which is not a word that I use, you know, it's a word I use sensitively, thoughtfully, because actually generally as a rule life isn't perfect, is it? But you know, amidst the chaos of the kind of challenging times that we're living in, we've asked, you know, this reading very specifically, what blessings are being initiated for you at this turning point of Samhain? It's something that is going to rock your world. It's something that is going to move fast. It's going to bring joy. It's going to, amidst anything else that's happening in your world, it's going to bring you excitement, joy, and it's like your energy. I'm literally feeling the energy rising. It feels, yeah, joyous is literally the rune of joy. It's just summing up the whole energy of your reading. Now, the rune of journey is interesting because sometimes it does mean that we are going to take a journey. And sometimes it means that we journey within. We are journeying within, we are removing blocks and obstacles, and we're freeing the way so that we can move forwards. With Hagalaz, sometimes Hagalaz can suggest that we break free from something almost. We're liberated. I feel much more though for this reading that something is coming in. You know, the Queen of Pentacles, the Page of Cups. And it's a lovely energy of generosity. The Queen of Pentacles, like you get crowned, you get honoured, you get validated. Something you really, really, really wanted is coming in. Okay? Very, very, very interesting. It's like there's a shift from, I want to say, yes, look at this beautiful card of the Hermit here. It's something that literally brings the light into your world. The Compass card. It's something that brings the light into your world, just like the arrival of a baby or the arrival of something or the arrival of someone, something. It's something coming in that is bringing you, literally, it lightens brightens, lightens, changes things. Yeah, it's a joyous, joyous reading. For some of you, it even whatever arrives will extend your ability to make choices in life. If you have been applying for jobs, for example, you know, you get a job and the money is bigger and better than you had expected, or the return of something you've invested in is bigger and better than you've expected. And with this joy, there are choices available to you. There's more choice available to you because of this entry point arrival of something. Okay, and it's very personal to you, the rune of the self, but everything is about joy. Let's have a look at your other cards here. We have the Hooded Man. Can we? Yeah, I think we can get these in. We have the Hooded Man. We have the Seven of Vessels. You're going to be leaving stuff behind, something behind. Something, it's this radical change here. Ace of Bows, Spark of Life. And then we have Seven of Stones, Healing. Let me push your cards up. Wow, 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 wow. I think those are all in, aren't they? Yes, excellent. Reading number 2. Wow, the energy of this cheetah, it's fast. Really, really fast. Things change very, very quickly. There's a saying, isn't there, you know, that everything can change in a moment. Everything can change in a moment. Something happens, somebody says something, a door opens for you. Everything can change in a moment. What is utterly gorgeous about this reading, to have effectively the Hermit, the Hooded Man, it's the same card. The light shining here, being shown the way. You're coming out of, it's the rune of joy again, you're coming out of darkness into light. There is something that gets, something basically arrives, a blessing that's being initiated. Something arrives in your world that literally lightens you. There's just, yeah, it's celebration. There's a letting go. There's a transformation taking place here. Spark of life. It literally, it does. It feels, if any of you are expecting babies in your world, or you know, or you know, I don't know, partner proposes, or you want to move and you find your dream house, or your whatever it is, or the job, you get a raise, you know, whatever it is, it's bringing. Also, there's another extra layer here with the 7 of Vessels mourning and 7 of Stones healing. 2 sevens here. 2 sevens. We have opportunity here to shift, to turn, to move, to heal, to move away from something that you didn't think would happen is about to happen. Something is going to happen, and it's going to happen fast. Her joy renders the impossible task possible. I'm going to draw some more cards, reading number 2. The message is very clear for you. It's just joy, joy, joy. So something is coming that is bringing you joy, bringing you happiness. It's the arrival of something. It's guided. It's going to keep you, put you almost back on track in some way, shape or form. Let us draw more cards and ask, what might we be shown for reading number 2 for more information? And this one too. Okay. Mars motion. Well, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Now this is interesting because we have Mars motion, we have 12th house introspection, okay, we have Gemini cross-pollinate, we have Virgo digest. I want to say, Super Souls, if you were drawn to reading 1 and reading 2, then, and you haven't yet checked out reading 1, it's worth it, because there's some really, I think there's some similar, they're very different readings, but there's a sort of a connection between them potentially. Sun, source energy, midheaven pinnacle, and 10th house authority. Wow. Yeah, there is a really similar, it's slightly different. It's slightly different. I won't say too much, but there is, I think, potentially a connection between the two. This is fabulous because this is like something comes in that is just joyful. It lifts you, it elevates you, it brings you happiness. With the 2 Hermit cards, when this arrives, motion, dynamic, happening, Mars, passion, be sure to process in a, the rune of journey. Because we're talking big change here. The rune of journey, introspection, journey inwards, review. Whatever lands, you're going to need to make decisions on the basis of it. Just, isn't it? It's a bit like, you know, the new baby arriving and our world is thrown upside down. It's like a bomb's hit everything, but we have to actually get quite organized. Okay, introspection, cross-pollinate, digest. This is suggesting that whatever is landing and coming into your world, reading number 2, you're going to work with others in some way, shape or form around this. It's not just a singular thing that comes into you. It's something that will open connections with others. So there's going to be work to do with other, I say work, collaboration. You know, again, if a baby arrives, let's use that analogy. You know, we all start working together to sort of support the new mum and the new baby. So whatever lands for you, whatever brings this joy, this happiness, this lifting, this amazing feeling, it's going to be connecting and yeah, cross-pollinating, connecting with others, bouncing things off, working together, digesting and reflecting on the bit that you're going to be doing and the bit that other people are going to be doing. There's a connection here. But wow, sun, source energy, pinnacle, mid-heaven, emerging, opening, happening. Authority is an interesting card for us to end with here. Because for me, this feels like climbing Mount Everest. In the best possible way. It doesn't feel like climbing Mount Everest negatively. It feels like, you know, that feeling that you can do it, and you know you can do it, and you can do it, and you can have it. If anything, I feel like you get, because of the Mid-Heaven Pinnacle card, I feel you get to the top of some mountain. It may be that something you've been working on for ages and ages, suddenly the offer comes through. You know, I use the idea of, if you've been applying for jobs, you suddenly get the job offer, and it's more money than you could possibly have dreamed. But something here is being initiated at this turning point for you. It feels very much like it's to do, for some of you, it could be to do with your calling, a connectedness to some aspect of your calling or your purpose. But whatever it is full of joy. You're being uplifted, upgraded. I don't know if that's quite the right word. Upgraded would be relevant to reading 1, but yeah, uplifted. It's fab, and it's definitely requiring you to also have to take action. Okay, because it's creating opportunity for you. I actually think whatever it is, you're going to be buzzing, and because you're going to be buzzing, it's just one of those amazingly, I think I should probably stop waffling. I feel like I'm waffling, but I'm very captivated and caught up in the energy of your reading number 2. It just feels joyous, heavenly, and yes, there is digesting and cross-pollination and reflection to be done within this, but the whole thing just feels absolutely, it's disruption at its most joyous. That's really, I think, probably what I'm going to complete your reading with, really, reading number 2. I'm loving the energy of this, and I'm loving your reading. I really, really am. Super Souls, do subscribe, press the little bell icon if you want to get notification of any of my readings. I do, you know, big readings like these, the pick a card readings, several times a week, usually around 3 times a week. I always post on Sundays, and I'm also doing lots of teensy readings as well now, just as and when it feels right, actually. And I'm just tuning in, and I sort of have quite a strong calling every now and then just to do a small reading, and these are single readings, but they're often a good way of touching base in the moment. But anyway, Super Souls, sending you all the love in the world. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing. Thank you to all of you who are supporting all of the work I do through Patreon. Super Souls, we are about to head into a new month, and so I'll be doing a new tutorial for those of you who are on Patreon. And yeah, thank you, just thank you all of you for being a part of this amazing community. Reading number 2. This is magical. The energy of the Samhain turning point is just actively giving back to you, which is fabulous. And it's just so full of light and joy. I mean, it's, yeah, right, I'm stopping my waffling. I'm actually feeling quite overwhelmed in the best possible way by what this might be about for you each in the uniqueness of your own circumstances. Super Souls, tons of love, sending you the hugest hug in the world. Hey Super Souls, reading number 3. You have 5 runes that came out. That was so magical, the way the runes just came through for the very beginning of the reading. So you have Harvest, you have the rune of Growth, Berkana, you have the rune of Fertility. I mean, these are 3 very powerful runes because they are speaking of, yeah, of stuff coming to you. We have the rune of Breakthrough, and we have the rune of, well, it's the blank rune. Now, Beatitude of Sacred Rapture, the card 29, these magical witches on broomsticks. This actually connects to your spiritual pathway. It also connects to coming through something that has been difficult in some way, shape or form. You know, like something coming to a completion or an end, and a new beginning coming. And very connected to your spiritual pathway in some way, shape or form, or your spiritual pathway holding you through that transition. Now, I'm not going to say any more until we have actually drawn more cards for you. I'm going to move these up here. There we go. Let us draw cards. Let's see what spirit animal guides or guide is around you. I do see 2 for you actually coming through here. Actually 3. You have the oyster. You have the hyena, and you have the hummingbird. Okay. Right. We're asking what blessings are being initiated. Something is coming your way that is going to bring you out of your shell. Okay, if you've been I wouldn't say hiding away. If you have not been able to express yourself, or you have hidden away, or I mean, yeah, or there's something you have to, if you've been working on something even secretly, it's time to birth it into the world. Yeah, there's something you have been hiding in your shell, or keeping a secret, or holding on to, whether it's like your own pearls of wisdom, your own voice, or you have felt just maybe you have not been well, or any number of things that have been going on that could have left you feeling restricted or flattened, or not able to bring something forth, or you've been working and working and working, but it hasn't yet emerged. There's something very singular to you that is going to come through for you. That's the turning point that's being initiated. Let's draw more cards. What else are we being shown for reading number 3? Okay. Let's see this card. Okay. Ooh, this came out in reading number 2. So, her joy renders the impossible task possible. Grandmother of love, granddaughter of life. Fearless. Oh, and look at this beautiful card, encouragement. This is so lovely. Okay, let's put these cards here, and yeah, that's going to work for us. And the card of encouragement. This is so interesting, the coming out of your shell. Super Souls, I'm going to draw some tarot cards as well, I think, for you. Because There is definitely something that needs to emerge or is going to emerge. Literally, it's like you overcome something. There's something, whether you have withdrawn, you retreated, you're shy and you overcome your shyness and are able to do something, or you recognize that your shyness is a gift actually, and you work out how to use that gift in a really powerfully positive way. There's definitely a breakthrough. Yeah, a breakthrough that brings new opportunities, a space of potential. We are asking, of course, about blessings for you. Let's draw from, we'll draw from a couple of tarot packs. We'll draw primarily from the Crow Tarot. I'm seeing that card too. And also the Wildwood Tarot. Let's have a look and see. Okay, so your first card is the Queen of Wands. You have the Two of Swords. You have the Chariot, lovely. Okay, so we're seeing movement, and then we have the Three of Pentacles. Okay, this is great because this is a card that is bringing you celebration. It's really interesting how best to lay your cards out. I'll just put this one up here, I think. Okay, and let's just have a quick look at your other tarot cards too. Queen of Stones, Bear. Very interesting. We have Two of Vessels, Attraction. We have Seven of Bows, Clearance. And then we have Page of Stones, Links. Okay. So reading number three rather. My apologies. Reading number 3. I actually think that you're going to come, literally, the blessing that is about to happen is you're going to come out of your shell in some way, or you're going to find your voice. You're going to move away from a place where you felt, and there probably still is around you at the moment. It's almost like there's something you've basically worked for. And I actually think you've worked and worked and worked and worked. And there's been a few readings that have this kind of message around them that have come up recently. Some of them have been the little short, spontaneous readings that I'm now doing, you know, in between the bigger ones, these ones that I do. I always do at least 3 pick a card readings, usually every week. Always one on Sundays for the weekly guidance, but different subjects for the others. And then in between I do some tiny ones. Interestingly enough, in quite a few readings, we are seeing a theme coming through of, it's of where you guys have worked and worked and worked, and it's kind of got this flavor of, come on universe, where is it? Why hasn't it happened? Or almost that sense of retreating and thinking, you know, and sometimes because there's been loads of stuff happening, circumstances have meant you've been so busy working and working and working that you couldn't kind of energize yourself into the right zone for the one thing you really want to come to you. And actually we're sort of being shown here that the blessings that are being activated at this pivotal turning point are actually going to move this area forwards for you. Whatever this is for you, we're seeing celebration, 3 of Pentacles, Queen of Stones, Bear. It's like the challenges you've had to face actually start to shift. we start to see it's almost as though all the work that you've been doing, and that's personal work, you know, self-care, the internal stuff, the treasures within, the you know, the learning to love yourself, you know, the stuff I mean, that the knowing that you are a good person. You know, sometimes when circumstances don't work out for us, we end up feeling like we're not a good person, and sometimes people actually tell you you're not a good person. But this sort of conflict, I think, where you've had a blind side to some stuff is gone. You've done the work, and that's something that's been coming through in several of the readings recently. Quite a theme. That the harvest is now about to come in. It's reaching that point. Fertility is a rune, it's a fruit-bearing rune, and it requires completion of beginnings. So something you've been working at completes, and you reach the breakthrough moment. And then that creates this space of possibility. The blank rune is about possibility. Two of Vessels, attraction. Hummingbird is about joy. Seven of Bows, clearance. It's like it's the end of something. Something comes to an end. I love the Lynx card here in this position, because the Lynx energy shamanically is, Lynx people are the keepers, or not the keepers, the knowers of secrets. Okay, so this is an interesting element to your reading here, reading number 3. It's like there's a particular wisdom that comes from people who are, you can read people, you know, there's that sort of sense of say, for some of you it could be clairvoyance or clairsentience, but you are highly sensitive, and that sensitivity can create a blind spot for you. It means sometimes you can, in the past, perhaps have walked into situations where you've been possibly even kind of used and abused a bit by people, if I'm honest. And, you know, you may have retreated, but you're very aware now. You know, Lynx is an energy where you can kind of see things for what they are. And I think you have withdrawn and even built some defensive, you know, hyena energy is often a bit defensive, not necessarily in a negative way. Sometimes the energy of hyena is, let's just place this here for a moment. Sometimes the energy of hyena is like, you know, when you laugh things off because it's actually a way of coping. But sometimes if we laugh things off, or we aren't actually acknowledging how we really feel. And it's part of the, you know, we brush things off because somebody says something and it's hurtful, and we learn to laugh it off in order to carry it in the moment. But it creates a defense in one way, shape or form. There's definitely some energy around you where you have experienced conflict, you've struggled, you've maybe not seen some people for who they really are. Maybe that, yeah, the wool was pulled over your eyes, or you were, you've given more than your fair share and didn't get back what you deserved. You've actually reached a point though where you know that you deserve it, and this is the fabulous thing. You may not yet have reached out into the world to receive, because some of you will have actually got to a point where you thought, well, it's never going to happen. But what we're seeing is the energy at this turning point of Samhain, the blessings that are being initiated for you are to create a turning point where you no longer have to feel that you have to hide or you have to defend. You can start to be, to kind of start to be who you are, have your own voice. You really are a gift. That's what I really want to say. You are a gift. Your sensitivity is a gift to the world, but you've had to learn to manage it. This is such a theme that's coming out in some of the other readings. If you've been drawn to some of my other readings and you're now in this one, you'll know this is really, you know, we really are talking about, you know, that heightened sensitivity that makes you very, very vulnerable sometimes, but also means that you are extraordinarily gifted people, and you've had to learn, probably through some very tough lessons, how to sort of actually almost handle the knowledge that you have, because your capacity for reflection and sensitivity means that you see things sort of emotionally, psychologically, people's behaviors. You probably really get it, almost more than they do. It's like you can almost see people with a greater honesty than they have of themselves, if that makes some sense. You guys would make, if you're not already in that field of work, you would make great counsellors, because you have that level of insight. It's naturally in you. It has meant that you've experienced some difficult stuff, and you may still be feeling a bit of that around you, that defensiveness, that, yeah, I'll just stay in my own shell a bit more, or almost, and if you are very sensitive, maybe you are also, you know, more on the introvert scale, and often people who are on that sensitive introvert scale can be criticized by people who want them to be different, and as if somehow we should all be the same and we should all be outgoing. Well, actually, no, be you. You know, sensitivity is desperately needed in the world if we're ever to develop and build, you know, a compassionate humanity. This is about you finding out how to be you in a non-defensive way, whilst you are still ultimately still protected, and where your capacity to be a sort of a knower, a seer, you also manage to navigate how to use that gift. You know, because it's not always appropriate to voice what we can see, because actually that can be a little bit confrontational, and especially if we can see how someone is, but they can't see it because they haven't consciously developed enough yet to be there. They're on their own journey. So that's where that sits. This is shifting for you. The Chariot, it's going to move. Things are coming into balance. You feel some element of recognition is coming into your world. You've had to work at this, but there's a completion of something that allows a breakthrough, and that creates a space of possibility, whatever that is for you in the uniqueness of your world. Reading number 3. 2 of Vessels, attraction. Yes, another layer of this story unfolding here for you, reading number 3. It's like you've also, in the way that you have learned, you've retreated, you've learned to process what was once a blind side. You're now free, in a way, in terms of the law of attraction, to draw to you, magnetize to you what you want. Previously, your sensitivity created an attraction in a way to sometimes the wrong kinds of, or something that was wrong for you. It's like being really giving and really generous, but if we're giving and generous without discernment and without boundaries, because if we're not measured and we're not looking after ourselves, Queen of Wands is balanced energy here. You know, if we don't have boundaries, when we're giving generously, interestingly enough, we attract people who don't have boundaries, if that makes some sense. And they may be takers rather than givers. So there's something about recognizing that actually totally understanding yourself and still being the amazing, wonderful, sensitive soul that you are, you're shifting the way in which you use that energy, because you now have real awareness of that, so that you can attract in people and circumstances that are genuinely going to resonate with you. So you attract in possibilities. Let's draw some more cards for you, reading number 3. I feel those are absolutely leaping out. Let's have a look at these. Oh, look at this. Sagittarius, expand. Loving your cards. Actually, do you know, before we dive into these, I will obviously move these. I just actually want to move these over. I want us to just check in on the Wildwood Kyan Yin cards, the oracle cards. Let me move these over here for a moment, because yeah, I just want to look at these 3 cards here. Her joy renders the impossible task possible. Grandmother of love, granddaughter of life. It's like fearless. There is an initiation, an opening, a changing. The blessing that's coming to you is a breakthrough point where you are resetting and realigning, recognizing that you are a gift rather than that you are, you know, you've been filled with self-doubt at times. It's like your self-esteem becomes strong enough. You have the wisdom of a grandmother. You know, I'm going to say, super souls, you are old souls. Probably potentially starseed people have come here to process some pretty tough stuff, actually, almost on behalf of the greater collective humanity. But through the workings of what you're doing, you're elevating the consciousness for the whole of humanity, and also very much creating different kinds of relationships of awareness. But that's hard because you're sowing seeds in a world where lots of people just aren't there yet. So just be conscious of that and really acknowledge your worth and your value. And don't be afraid to be you, because it's time to come out of your shell in some way. To cease to be defended, because you can actually handle yourself. So absolutely time to expand. Sagittarius. We have 6th house, sustainability. So this is about now investing in the world that you really, really, really want for yourself, with faith and trust that you can now create it. You've kind of done that bit of work. We have 8th house, mystery. Yes, this is like stepping into the great unknown, not being afraid to own your dreams, not being afraid to believe that you can have, in a very real, long-term, sustainable way, something you really wanted. And we are seeing that transformational energy with the skull here. Virgo, digest. Sun, source energy. Some of these cards have been coming out in some of the other readings. It's really amazing given the energy around this turning point in the Earth's calendar. Right, so this is absolutely the time to expand. You're really good at processing your experiences now, and you're also learning to reset your energy. There's a time to withdraw, to reset your energy. There's also a time to come back out and to believe and to have trust and faith that your dreams, midheaven, pinnacle, can actually come to fruition. It's like the magic of these these witches. It's like literally learning that you can create through your own mindset, through your own energy. You can learn to use your sensitivity in ways that enhance your manifestations. You're stepping into a space of real possibility. That's the opening, the shift, the turn that's coming to you, reading number 3. And that is the blessing that is being initiated. You've had some really tough times, and it's shifting, it's turning. You've done the work. The completion of that stage of soul work is coming to its point, its sort of pinnacle, and the breakthrough energy is now happening. It does feel like a return to love. It's like entering the world afresh with the wisdom of the grandmother, but the innocence of the child. When you have that collaboration and you enter the world with that knowledge, the link's secrets, you don't have to share it with everybody because they're not necessarily in the same zone as you, and you've learned that, but you know it, and therefore you can use that to consciously, with discernment, start to navigate your life and only hang out with the people who resonate with you, and only hang out with the circumstances that resonate with you. It's that recognition, you know, when something doesn't gel, you know, we can feel immensely disappointed. Or alternatively, we can think from a law of attraction perspective, you know, you really don't resonate with me, so I'm going elsewhere. we can make very conscious choices because we have that strength of awareness. So we're using that sensitivity to your advantage. There is a very big shift occurring here, that breakthrough, that opening, and you are stepping into a space of completely renewed possibilities, reading number 3. And the possibilities are there because you've done the work. So it's that point of you deserve this, and you know you deserve this. And it's now moving beyond that point of recognition that you deserve it and using your incredible gifts to be you and know that you don't have to be anything other than you. And with that strength and solidness, you will draw into you exactly what you wish to have. You know, you have that capacity to digest and process every experience in a way that can hold your energy and lean into this space of possibility with so much, you know, joy coming in. Hummingbirds only hang out in joyful places. It's like they're really clear. So, but they're not discerning in a defensive way. They literally, if something doesn't taste sweet, they'll move on and find another flower. It's really like that. It really is. So it's like, you know, taste the honey, and if the honey isn't the right one for you, move along. It's got that flavor. And the more you do that, the more you choose what's right for you, actively expand sustainability. If it's not sustainable, don't keep it, move on. The more you do that, the more your trust and faith in the world will build, and the more this is going to rise to the point where something you've really wanted will actually come into you. And I think for a lot of you, this aligns with connections with people who resonate, whereas you've often attracted through your giving, sensitive, generous nature. People often cling to sensitive people because they want to be heard, loved and looked after. But they're not necessarily coming into your life because they want to offer you the same. Or sometimes they simply can't because they're not sensitive themselves. So they love your sensitivity. But then when the moment you start to need something in return, they kick back at you because actually they're only coming in because they want something. The discernment, the strength, the knowing, the wisdom, the lynx energy, the seeing, the knowing, all of these things, the hummingbird. Taste the honey, my darlings, but if it isn't sweet and resonating for you, move along. And breakthrough is coming. It's that strength that you're building in you that is going to really, really shift your world. This is deserved. Super souls, that is your reading for today. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for liking, subscribing, sharing, and for those of you who give back through the super thanks. We're about to start a new month as I'm recording this, so for those of you on Patreon, I'll be making you a new tutorial as well for this month. Super souls, if you would like to get notification of any of my readings, this is a spontaneous reading. I post usually 3 pick a card readings during the week, sometimes more, but usually 3, always on Sundays for weekly guidance. And also I'm doing little spontaneous readings in between. They're single readings, they're just there to touch base if that works for you. You know, sometimes we feel we just want to touch base with a little something extra, and you'll know if it's right for you because your intuition will guide you. They're much smaller readings, but they're just like little, touch base readings for in between. Super souls, tons and tons of love to you all. I'm really quite in awe of you actually, you guys, because this is big soul level work. And so super souls, you know, thank you for being you and for doing this stuff, because this is important levels of work, and it's time for you to receive. Tons of love.